So I just dumped the Nature's Head, which is in our back bathroom. And this is what it looks like. Everybody's always curious, but look. This right here is 2 weeks of poo-poo. What's up, guys? Jesse here, the Adventure Never, and today we're talking about poop. Well, we're not really talking about poop. We're talking about thrones, captain's chairs, commodes, whatever. Basically, we're talking about our composting toilets. We have a massive Alliance 395DS that we absolutely love, and we have converted it to composting toilets. We have 2 of them. I'm going to kind of show you the differences between them, talk about what we like, what we dislike, and show you what the poop looks like once it's all composted, and just kind of show you all sorts of different things about these and show you why we do this. All right, so for us, there's a lot of reasons you may want to switch to a composting toilet. If you boondock a lot, you never have to worry about your black tank becoming too full. That's always a concern for a lot of people because you poop and pee in there, and some of these black tanks are small, it can become full. Number 2, they do not use any water whatsoever. It's a separating toilet, so the urine comes in these little holes right here that comes out, goes into our black tank, and doesn't use water, so it's not flushing. So it saves you water, saves your tank filling up, and it's just a convenience. We don't have to go to dump stations nowhere near as often as most people do, and it makes traveling, in our opinion, with kids just much easier, because you never want to have to be like, oh, tank's full, we have to leave if we're boondocking or something like that. We have to go to a dump station, and it's cheaper. Dump stations are expensive, and I don't know, I found like they're gross and they're annoying, and sewage to me is very gross, and there's always a lot of accidents. This, to me, I'm gonna show you, it's not gross. Everyone thinks it's gross. It's not gross. Way more gross doing sewage. We've done sewage for multiple years, and then we've been doing composting toilets for about 3 years now. So we have a lot of experience in both realms, and in our opinion, much easier, much cleaner, much simpler for RV life, less smells. We've often gotten smells coming out of our toilet with the seals, gases coming up from the tank, stuff like that. So hopefully it's not too rambly, but we are going to talk about each one. The one over here is a Airhead. This is the one we use in our master bedroom, and there's some reasons for that. This is a Nature's Head here. This is what we use in the back bathroom, and we like both of them for separate reasons. So the main reason here that we use the Airhead is the size difference. I don't know if you can tell, but just kind of looking at them side by side, the Nature's Head is quite a bit longer, and it's also quite a bit wider. So if you have a smaller space, Airhead is going to be better for you. They claim to do about the same. They say 2 to 3 weeks in each. We find that the Nature's Head, obviously it's bigger, it does do better for longer stints with the compost, which is down here or down here. Now, some things about the Airhead here that we like is it comes with a nice rubber gasket here, and then it actually has a toilet seat, so it makes it feel like a normal toilet. So basically, you go bathroom, you sit down, you go. The only thing you really need to do is if you go number 2, you got to open your flap here. Number 2 goes back here. Number 1 goes right there. And then we have changed ours, so the number 1 on both toilets goes into the black tank, so that we have a lot more black tank space, because it's no longer putting TP down there. And number 2, it's just number 1. Very similar on this one, a little different. This one does not have a gasket, which I feel like it'd be pretty easy to add one to here. It just helps with if there are smells, but there are not smells, and I'll show you why. Same thing here. There's your number 2, there's your number 1. It's diverted down here. This one has some cam buckle type latches here with a foot turner here. So basically you go number 2, you spin it a couple times. That's all you do. You close your lid. Same thing here. You go number 2. We converted this. This is actually a part from this one. So you go number 2, you spin it a couple times. That's it. You use your foot. This one, this is how you separate it here with these little knobbies. This one has carrying handles. This is your fan, where your fan goes. There's a tube here for your vent. Basically, both of these toilets here and here have 12-volt fans that constantly pull out air, and that's for 2 reasons. One is for any smells that may occur, which there's not really any, because when you separate poo and pee, basically, there's no smell once the poo dries out. And then also, pulling the air out pulls out moisture, which helps it dry out. One thing I do like about the Airhead is the fan is housed in a different location. It's not housed in the toilet. So when I take these toilets out and I hose them off, you either need to pull this fan or cover it with a bag or something, because you don't want to ruin your 12-volt fan here. But I have another mod for that too that I'll show you later on the inside. But I think this is a good video to show a side-by-side comparison, and I'll open them now. They've all been cleaned and they've been refilled. So this is the inside of the Airhead. Here's the churner here. It's fairly clean. Basically, I hose them out quickly with hot water. This is the inside of the Nature's Head. Here's the churner, and you can tell we are using pine pet bedding pellets. I'll show you what we use to be exact, but basically they're very similar except for the size difference. Here are the 2 different composting mediums we use. This is probably what most of you see. This is coconut core. It comes in bricks like this, and a lot of people will hydrate it a little bit, get it a little bit wet, and then kind of bust it up and make it into like a mulch. We stopped using it because it has like a earthy smell to it, and we just weren't fans of it. And then also, it's really hard to find without ordering it online, and then you have to kind of break it up. It's a little bit more work and a little bit more cumbersome. So after a lot of research, we started using pet bedding pellets. It's just compressed sawdust essentially. And what is really cool is Tractor Supply carries them, and like almost any like pet and feed store, and it is like $7 or $6.50 for a giant bag. So it says that it's up to 3 times more absorbent than shavings. Animal bedding pellets absorbs moisture, reduce odor, saves time and money, enhance compostability. And that's what's mixing with the number 2 and making it look just like sawdust. This bag is pretty big. This is a 40-pound bag, and it's like anywhere from $6 to $8, but it's readily available everywhere. And all I do is I put about a third, basically right where the mixing handle is just barely touching, and I spray them with water very quickly, and then that's it. And the water is just kind of helping getting it going, putting a little bit of moisture into the pellets because they're so compressed. And then once they're going a little bit, it's easy. And a bag of those pellets probably gets us about 3 changes each, if I had to guess. So about 3 in the Nature's Head, 3 in there, so 6 total changes, which is roughly 2 weeks, give or take. Sometimes 3, sometimes 2. It just all depends. It took me a while to get it dialed in the beginning because I was accidentally putting too much pellets, and then they expand quite a bit. So if you put too many pellets, it's going to kill your capacity because it just fills up to the top, and it's like wants to overflow with just pellets in itself. So kind of like less is more, and that's worked very well. This is the kind of down and dirty aspect of these toilets, which is really not bad. So I just dumped the Nature's Head, which is in our back bathroom, and this is what it looks like. Everybody's always curious, but look, this right here is 2 weeks of poo-poo. There's a little bit of the pellets that were on the very bottom. They're on the very bottom. They don't get stirred because honestly, I feel like it's a bad design. But look, it's not gross. There's zero smell. If anything, I smell a little bit of like pine from the pellets. They really, I feel like they compost well. So this is what I do. I dig like a big 24-inch hole, And then because these are so fluffy, it will squash down once I put the dirt on it. I put all the dirt on it, I stomp it down, compress it, chuck a big rock on top of it. And then it goes back to Mother Nature, just like intended. In here, I don't feel like it's like gross at all. So here is what we do with the toilets. So we get our sprayer, we use super piping hot water, and we just hose them down. Let them dry out in the sun, keeps them nice and clean. It's easy. Sometimes I will take white vinegar, I'll hose it down with water, spray with white vinegar, let it sit in the sun, and then hose it off. But typically I just do a quick rinse, keeps them nice, and we're not using a bunch of chemicals. This is our lived-in bathroom here. It's actually not too dirty, a little bit here and there. But anyways, this is our 395DS. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is what it looks like when we go down. I built this platform. This is a riser platform because it's over your factory sewer hole. I put a cap, and then I put a 90-degree fitting that goes down into it. And then this hose comes up. This hose just goes on with a hose clamp, and the urine goes straight down into the black tank. These little mounts right here are what hold the toilet down. This is our old water line. Alliance is awesome, and they put a shutoff valve right there, so I don't have to do anything with that. This is the vent for the fan. The fan is behind this wall. It comes with the toilet when you buy it, and there's just an O-ring here, and it just pushes in, and it constantly pulls a low fan. It just pulls air and moisture out, and I tapped this into the factory black tank vent. So this is teed in, and then it vents out up to the ceiling. As far as installing a toilet, you just set it down, and then you line up these threaded holes with these little nut jobbers things. I don't know, kind of hard to do with one hand, but super easy to do with two hands. You just tighten these down. I like to leave it loose for a minute because you just pop your vent in there, and the pressure just holds it in. There's a little O-ring. Tighten those down, pop this guy on, and then you just tighten up your hose clamp. Like I said, this looks a little ghetto because it is. I need a bigger cotter pin that's not all janky. This handle came off the Nature's Head. The Airhead has a weird hand crank, and we just felt like the hand crank was kind of silly. So we had a spare one of these from the other toilet, and I had to drill a hole, and you can tell I messed up here multiple times because it was very awkward drilling. And anyways, this is what it looks like in here. Works well. Now we got 50 gallons of number one, and then the number two, literally whenever we need to swap it out, we can dig a hole like we just did outside, or you can put it in a trash bag and throw it away in a trash or a dumpster. Another thing we do is we keep a spray bottle of white vinegar here, just because sometimes if it's extremely hot out, which we try to follow the weather, the urine can actually smell a little. But if you ever get that smell, you just a little spray in there, and it's every once in a while, and it's not really a big deal. Here is our back bathroom for the kids. We got shower, sink, toilet, 395DS. Obviously, you could tell we have a lot more space here than the other one, so the Nature's Head worked great. Similar to the other toilet, I built a platform here to go up for a good mounting surface area. Same thing here. Here is where our valve goes, and you just, our tube goes for the urine, and that goes into the black tank. And like I said, these Nature Heads have a built-in fan right here. Honestly, I don't use it anymore. I felt like it needed a little more fan speed to work a little better. And I found this chingadera. It's a housing with a fan on Amazon, and it almost perfectly fits on right here. And what's really cool is it's 12 volt or 110. So it comes with this controller here, and I just plugged it in right here. But you can do 12 volt as well. And this thing really rips. Listen to this. That's on high. Obviously, we don't run it on high. You just kind of leave it down here on like 1 or 2. But maybe if you're like leaving for the day and you're having moisture issues, because sometimes they can get too damp inside the chamber, you could always just crank that puppy up, go out for the day, do your adventuring, whatever, come back, and it's gonna be super dry in there. But that fan is awesome because I like that it's housed separately, and I just leave it there and I don't have to worry about getting it wet or pulling out the other fan. Now, I'm sure you guys are gonna have questions, so please put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. We're not professionals, but then again, we kind of are because we've been doing composting toilets for over 3 years. I would say that at first we did not like the Airhead because we felt like we struggled to get enough time out of the capacity of the toilet. But then once we switched to the pellets, we were finding that we were getting 2 weeks much easier, and sometimes even a little bit longer. My con kind of for both of them is I think that it's kind of a design flaw. They should have had a stirring system to where it actually goes across the bottom, because each one has like at least a 1 inch, if not more, like wasted compost medium spot where there's just pellets down there that are not getting mixed in. And I feel like it's just kind of a waste. If they had some sort of device to like scrape the actual very bottom, like C-head toilet, that's one that went out of business, but their method seemed pretty good. But overall, we're super happy. We don't have to waste water anymore when we're boondocking. The simplicity, we don't have to worry about like a macerator pump. We don't have to have an RV toter. Literally all we need is those pellets and potentially trash bags, which is like super common stuff. And we feel like it's less smells and it's just easier for us, and we like them. We have 2 of them. So let us know your thoughts. A lot of people will say it's gross or unsanitary or whatever, but sewage is so gross, and I see mistakes happen all the time with sewage. And considering we have our big water bladder, we really don't go to dump stations that often. Our capacity and our range is much higher than it was before when we had to worry about a black tank.